Hello and welcome to the Hand Penned Online class. We're very excited for you guys to see all the beautiful projects that we have for you in this class, and we wanted to thank you so much for purchasing this class from us. You will find that if you purchased a kit, the kit will include the supplies for the 9 cards in the class, as well as a little goodie pack which has a half a roll of the Highland Heather ribbon, a half a roll of the Mint Macaron ribbon, and then a package of the Genial Gems. If you purchased the whole kit, the whole shebang, option number 1, you will receive your hand-penned bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies. You will also receive the Genial Gems, the hand-penned Designer Series paper, and a roll of each of the ribbons, a full roll. You will need the Designer Series paper, the ribbons, the gems, and the bundle to complete the cards as we have designed them for you. So if you don't have those items, you can purchase those items from us in our online stores. Let's move on and get into card number 1. All right, so you will need a 4 1/4 by 10-inch piece of Highland Heather cardstock. You'll have that folded in half. You'll need a 3 1/2 by 5 1/2 inch piece of white, a 3 by 4 piece of white for your stamping, and then a 1/2 inch by 3 1/2 inch strip of Highland Heather. You're also going to need to cut a 3/4 by 3 1/2 inch strip of this pattern of the Designer Series paper, and then you will need 2 little snippets of the Highland Heather ribbon. We're going to punch a hole in this first, and if you purchase the kit, you will get this. This will come to you already punched. Okay, so this we don't need. Then you're going to want to find the embossing folder of your choice. In my case, I chose the brick and mortar folder, and you're going to want to put that in. I like to fold it up first and stick it in and get that right to the edge of the design on the folder. And then I kind of hold it at the fold line, and then I'm going to open that up and then close my folder, and I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I will be right back. All right, here we go. So we have the brick and mortar folder on the front side of the card only. And now you are going to want to close this piece of cardstock up, and I recommend using liquid glue, and I recommend using a very skinny bead of liquid glue on the edges. Okay, you can use other adhesives, but if they're too wide, then your piece of white that you're going to slide in and out of this might not slide in and out so nicely. So that's why I recommend the liquid glue, and then just a very, very skinny bead all the way down the edge here. Okay, and then just close that up. Press that into place. If glue squirts out, just rub that off. That's why I recommended the thin bead, so we don't have a ton of glue squirting out all over the place. Okay, so while that dries, we'll set that aside. We can work on our inside piece. So for the inside piece, you're going to need to take the scallop die, and you're going to lay that at the top of your piece of paper, leaving, I don't know, just a tiny bit. This is about 1/8 of an inch or so. And you're going to run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then this is what you will get. So you will end up cutting some of that off, so you can see it's a little bit shorter. Mine could be a little longer actually, but you're just going to need to cut it if it's too long, so not a problem. Okay. Then we're going to take our piece of Designer Series paper, and you can use whatever adhesive you have. I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to one edge, and then I'm going to adhere it to the Highland Heather cardstock, and it looks like I have cut this way too long, but not a problem. Always better to be too long than too short, because you can always trim it off. You can't add any extra, right? Okay, so we will get this to the bottom of the inside layer here. And then I'm just going to bring in some snips, and we will snip off that excess, no problem whatsoever. All right. So then our little piece is just going to slide nicely in and out of the sleeve that we have created here. So that's why you can see you don't want to have too much glue, because you want to make sure you have room to get that piece in and out. Okay. So while it's in, you're going to want to stamp your sentiment, And I'm going to use the sentiment that says thanks. And you can stamp it in Highland Heather or black. I thought it might be kind of fun to go Highland Heather since whoops, that's not the thanks. Here we go. I thought that would be kind of fun just because most of the card is Highland Heather, and Highland Heather is a fantastic color. So I'm going to stamp this kind of over to the right side just a bit. There we go, just like that. Okay. Then we're going to bring in our memento and our piece of 3x4 white, and I'm going to ink up this large floral spray here. Get that nice and inky. And then just stamp that straight down onto your piece of white. There we go. And I do like to let that dry for just a minute or so. So let me kind of clean up some of this mess. All right, so now we're going to add the detailed pieces to the flower here. Let me find those little pieces. I have them here. Okay, so we'll start with the Highland Heather. And we're going to do this little flower duo here in the Highland Heather. So there's 2 of those, as you can see. And none of these images are meant to be perfect. So you just kind of stamp them as good as you can get them. Again, not that they're meant to be perfect. Okay, now we're going to bring in some pale papaya. And we're going to do the rest of the flowers with this. So here is a medium flower for this guy right here. Or nope, maybe it's this one. Yep, I think maybe it's this one. There we go. This is the small one. So again, just kind of rotate it around until it looks like, you know, the best fit for whatever you think is the best fit. There we go. And then the largest one. Okay. So we have those 3 done. And now we're going to bring in the mint macaron to do our leaves. Okay. And there are 2 leaves. There's a large and a small. So we'll start with the large. And we'll just get these stamped on here. And then we'll do our little leaf here. And since all these leaves are a little bit different, sometimes you can just turn the stamp if you don't feel like it's fitting right. You can turn it a bit and then maybe get a better view. So there we have it. So now I just need to die cut this. So let me take this over to the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'll be right back. Okay, here is that. Move my stamps out of the way. Excuse me, out of the way. So we're going to end up adding this to the front of the card. Oh, just kind of framing that thanks a little bit. Okay. And let's see, maybe we'll move it up just a bit. How do we want to do this? Do we want to do it like this? Maybe we will do it like that. And then our little pieces of ribbon, we're just going to have come out from underneath the card, I thought. So we'll just kind of find a spot that looks good for the flowers and just kind of have them come out. I think we're going to rotate this just a bit. Maybe about like that. So I'm going to add this to the card with some dimensionals. Oops, you want to make sure that you aren't going to be running into the pull-out piece. So just carefully kind of, I've got my finger back here, so I know I can put one right here. Those. Like that. And then I can maybe put a little baby, a mini dimensional up here on this leaf. And I think that's going to work great. Okay, so we'll peel off the backings of all of these. And then we see how that worked out so nice. We just framed our thanks there. And then these little strips, I am going to get some glue dots. And where do I want to put these? Could maybe tuck them. Ooh, maybe we'll do that. We'll tuck them under there. So I'm going to get some glue dots and we're going to adhere them with some glue dots. So we'll take the largest one, and we may trim these down just a little bit. So I may end up putting my glue dot right there instead. And trimming off some of that ribbon. And then we'll just kind of tuck that underneath. And then this one's going to kind of go like that. So we'll add another glue dot here. Tuck that underneath. I think I'm going to trim some of that one off. There we go. Lift that up, tuck that under. Okay. And so our glue dots are going to stick really nicely there. And then the final thing we want to do is add some gems. Bring in the genial gems here, and you can do any color that you would like. Remember, only put it on the Highland Heather portion. So I think, let's just see here. If we went ahead and did, what would the, I think that's fine if you do a mixture of gems, don't you? Actually, I think I'm going to pull this green one off. And I'm going to use just the, I thought the green ones, good Lord, words are hard, might look better, but I actually feel like the pale papaya gems look even better. So there we have it. The card is finished. You have the front. We have our little pull out. Oh my, what did I do? Oh, I did just what I told you not to do. Thankfully, my dimensional was on not super tight. So there we go. So now you can pull that out, you can write your message, and then if I wanted to, I could bring another dimensional and put it on the back side of this leaf, which is what I meant to do. That's what I thought I was doing. So double check, make sure you got that on there right. Okay, and it actually feels like maybe I could tuck one under here as well. That does seem a bit, so what I'm looking for, like a little bit loose, I guess is the right word. Okay, there we go. All right, we are done. Let's move on to card number 2.